Hey. Can you hear
And we're
me? Hey
live.
now. And we're
We're
live.
live.
Yeah, and
This is
we're
for
live.
real.
Let's see. Oh yeah. So well, sorry guys about the technical difficulties, but here we are. We're scheduled out here and we're just gonna be here. Man, I have nothing to talk about. Talk about Hex. We talk about stuff that you're doing. We can answer questions if people ask questions,
Yeah,
in
that
the
works too.
chats. We're getting the viewers piling in now. They're coming in.
I think we're up to 4.
I'm up to 19 on mine. 20,
Oh wow. Okay.
19, 20. Oh, they're rushing. They're rushing in. Oh yeah.
Have the Twitter viewers, of course.
Yeah,
Good.
well.
Well, there's been some stuff going on that's worth talking about in my opinion.
Yeah, me too. I think right now, I was just looking at X. I did a stream this week and man, we got these buy signals coming in. I know people that are bitter and beat up at this point, like, not another one. But in the past, what we found is we get these clustered buy signals and they come in. Usually they're followed by an up leg, a leg up. So we're seeing buy signals on Pulse Hex, and we're also seeing it on Pulse. We've got some on Ink. So yeah, I'm kind of like, I don't know. It can go for, I guess it can go on for more and go down some more, but I'm thinking at some point things turn around. I don't know what you're
I'm
seeing.
surprised with all Richard's chatter that we don't, that people haven't front run, what's coming or what I think is coming.
I know.
But I don't think they have, honestly.
No, no, I'm kind of guessing. So this is just like made up numbers. I looked at the last couple of times we saw something happen with X like this, and up like 4 or 5x and up 7x, 8x. And so I'm kind of thinking 9, 10x is reasonable, right? So I'm thinking that, it's crypto, so that kind of stuff can happen. I don't have to back it up with facts because it's not financial advice, right? I just,
That's
it's
right.
just a feeling that, hey, things may go up based on what we're seeing on the charts, but yeah, so even I said to Access Alive the other day, I was like, man, I feel like doing is, getting some fresh powder and buying X. But then that's problematic for me because if people who follow me, they know that I'm not talking about trading on a regular basis, right? So it's not something I do. I don't do it very well, but that's the kind of thing that's going through my head. I'm like, it feels like it's going to go 10x, and what's 1,000 times 10? 10,000. Could I use 10,000 to do something? Yeah, I could, but it would require me to sell the hex afterwards. So then I nixed the idea. I was like, well, I don't want to sell any hex. So man, what a wicked web! A wicked web I weave.
What if you sold half of the hex? Would that be
I
okay?
could I could do that. I mean, it's within the bounds of DeFi, right? Of course, I could do
Indeed.
whatever I want. It's just I'm just telling you mentally that I'm broken. I'm like I can't sell it. So
You
so
could
then
take a loan out against it. There's
I
ways to do
I
that.
I I could Power City folks over
Yep.
there. I could do that. I could do that.
Also,
And
Fiat.io has loans against hex.
what's that? Oh, fiat. Yep, fiat.
Yeah,
I could
both
al- I
bought
could
in.
also I could also take that hex and Quattro Cinco it and as an
Mhm.
HSI earn Hedron and go over
Sure.
to Actuator and print some tokens. I could
Yep.
do that too, and then use that liquidity from those tokens to earn if I wanted to do that. So I mean, there's some options. But I'm pretty excited about it because a lot of people probably in the same boat. They get kind of biased, right? It's a unit bias, price bias. Like right now, I didn't check the price. What's it, 0.04557,
Something
something
like
like
that. It was
that.
under 5.
Yeah,
Or is
yeah.
it
So,
zero
so
zero four nine zero five?
yeah. So even if I'm taking $1,000 and I figured out how to get 20%, which is $200 a year. Most people are like, that's not very much. I mean, is it even worth the time, right? I mean, this is how we think. That's how I think, anyways, right? And then I had to remind myself, well, wait a minute. 10 times 200 is 2,000. but all of a sudden, that's a couple months worth of secondary bills, and multiply that by another five, and now that's 10 grand, and then like that's like for some people that's most of their rent, certainly their maybe their car payment for the year. Oh yeah. Anyways, just thinking out loud. This crypto speculation that's out there.
I feel my speculation is starting to be quite bullish with what I consider to be the start of the return of Richard Hart here. We got all this
Hmm.
marketing talk he's doing, all this charity talk he's commenting on,
Yeah.
and then we got the SEC not being able to, I want to say, um, yeah, to come back at him again after the 7th of July, according to Nuclear Herbs.
Yep. Yep. That's true. Well, on that topic, like I don't know how anybody knows exactly what is coming out, but I've heard people say all sorts of stuff, right? So I don't. So what are these devices? I mean, I have no knowledge of this personally, right? So I don't. So what is going on? What are these containers?
Well, we know the shape of the package, right? Because Richard posted about that. So it's fairly flat. I believe it was 0.35 inches. Let me just find the right numbers here. 7.5 inches long, 5.9 inches wide, 0.35 inches thick. So like small
Mhm.
booklet style. But we know it also contains, I believe, I want to
Is that
say
a
two.
credit card?
No, no,
Is that also?
0.35 inches thick, right? It's like
Yeah,
a
I
little
guess
book.
that's kind of thick. Yeah. Well, yeah, it could be a solid state device. Sure.
Could be. Do you want to see my theory?
Yeah, sure.
I'll share a screen here.
Share a screen, and I'll push the
And this
buttons,
is
man.
strictly speculation.
Oh, interesting.
Check this out. So this is just straight off of Alibaba here. Um, I doubt, I doubt it's exactly like this, but like, look, there's a little TV, there's a couple little buttons, there'd be a message on there. Obviously, it's got batteries. He said the thing had batteries that was being sent out. If you got something like that with you open like effectively a postcard, this is definitely postcard 2.0, but then it was like live on the screen, somebody's talking to you, you have some controls, like you're gonna want to see what it says, even if you're innate instantly not
Yeah.
interested. You'd be like, what
Well,
is this?
it'd probably be something scripted like, "Hello, Richard Hart here.
That'd be sweet.
Have you heard about Hex? Have you heard?"
So definitely just a theory, but like notice how that particular little TV thing I put up here, it's actually kind of hex shaped. So that'd be cool if it had the colors right and Richard Hart on the screen. But you never know. It could be a hardware wallet, could be something else. But obviously, it's going to be something relevant, right?
Yeah, well, hardware wallet would be a little rough to be doing that. I mean, there's some security implications to that, but I wouldn't rule it
So
out. And
yeah,
I mean, I do think there's the potential for freebies, right, in terms of like PRC tokens and that type of thing. But it would not be normal, I think, for him to be sending, a bunch of value out that's going to get dumped on the market. But it could happen, right? I just don't know, right? Because I'm not Richard, so I don't know what's coming. We got you on mute.
but I mean,
I put
you could have
myself
like a
on mute.
barcode on it that where somebody could scan to like get more information, like even if it wasn't a hardware wallet itself, where you could scan this barcode to have access to your tokens. Like, but like,
I
yeah, just the freebie isn't maybe a win, but
Yeah, I'd
freebie
love I
plus,
yeah, yeah, I'd love it. I'd love it to be a booklet, like something like you're talking about, and then on
yeah,
top of that, a Quattro Cinco stick included.
that would be pretty cool, actually.
That would
Yeah.
be kind of that'd
Here's
be
a
kind
link
of
to
fun.
your 5555 stick.
Yeah, here's your steak. Let's
Hmm.
see. Let's see. Before we get too far, let's see. We got stuff going on out here in the chat. I see Shell Fox out here. Frank White. Hex Wizard 369.
Hey,
Tam
Tim
is here.
Tam.
Tam is here. Ashley B. Beached Whale. What else we got? People talk. You guys have questions you want us to answer anything, let us know. Mr. Corey Greary. Or Geary. Hey Corey, how are you? Actually I'm not sure OBX how to do the rest of your name, so I'm not even gonna try. Mick Slammin. I haven't seen you in a long time, man. Hey Mick Slammin. I don't know if they're wallet fobs or not, but that would be interesting as well. It could be. It could be. It could be a fob that gives you access, but that would be pretty technical for like non coiners, no coiners, you know,
Indeed.
that type of
But
thing. Yeah.
like Richard understands marketing, so I would think that he would understand that this just has to be the first step in a marketing campaign,
Oh,
right? Like it's not
absolutely.
going to be fire and forget. We send out 10 million of these cool things. Everybody's like, wow, that was cool. And then we don't talk about it again. It'd be like, that happens. And then there'll be a follow up, a second level, a third level. So, and we've seen him talk about things lately like the crypto call center, right? Where he talks about call centers,
Yep. Yep.
which, that could connect to this because he talked about charities previously, obviously connects to this because that's the shipping route for these things. The call center where you learn how to do the DeFi that is required with the thing you were sent to the mail, that could be the next step too, and it could be all part of this project. Maybe that phone number is right on the box when you open it up. Maybe you do have a hex stake and you can phone to find out how to access that. That'd be cool.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. I think it'd be pretty interesting. Timing's pretty good. It actually, the timing comes in. Polly's talking about this being a very emotional roller coaster the last 4 years. But Hex Wizard mentioned this. He says, "Hey, when alt's going to take off? September?" And that's a great question. In the past, listen, we haven't had that many crypto cycles. There's only four of them, right? If you want to
Mhm.
count them, you want to count them up separately. Maybe you say there's six. I don't know, but regardless, right? We don't have that many halvings that happened with Bitcoin, and so Bitcoin did set the standard for a cycle because it was the dominant token or coin, right, forever, right? Or at least in the beginning. But now things have shifted a little bit, and now with
Sure.
all these changes that have taken place, this time could be different, right? It could be different. And so maybe instead of just an elongated cycle that makes it into January, it's rough at the end of the year, though, right? Because for something to really, you know, it feels to me like this. There's so many people for tax implications doing all sorts of stuff that it's either going to be the end of the year or it's not. So I don't think it's going to be like some weak ass January thing. So I'm kind of thinking Hex Wizard. Yeah, between now and September, things could take off. Or like Axis have been talking about forever, that this is a 2026 thing, and we've also seen a lot
Mhm.
of the people online talking about them. So
Well,
but
this time it's different, eh?
yeah, well, I think what I'll be looking for is this is, I follow the golden ratio, right? Which has tracked when we get blow off tops on both Bitcoin and Ethereum. And it's very clear, and people use other methods as well. It's very clear when a parabola forms that just goes straight up. Things just go parabolic, and then there's a blow off top. And so that is what you need to be watching for. I think we need to be watching for. And without that top, then there's no clear indication that quote unquote anything's done. And so it may be, some weird kind of thing, where TradFi's been, Wall Street's been trying to take over. Bitcoin predominantly has at this point, right? I think, and moving towards doing that with Ethereum. They're getting ready to do this Soul ETF, right? So there could just be so many things that kind of like move things out a little bit, or even signal the top. But I think again, we're just gonna have to watch. I don't know. And so what that means to me um, is I need to have my plan ready, and I need to know what I'm doing. and why I would do it, and kind of think that through. Otherwise, I may find myself doing another 4-year round trip, 8-year round trip. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know. Right? It could
Well,
be.
like I've heard a lot of guys say, my plan this time is to sell the top, but like most of them are going to be wrong, right? They're going to sell too early or they're going to sell too late. So I think, people need a plan where they don't sell the top. That's not enough of a plan.
Yeah. 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 Just like it's okay to dream if you can outrun it, right? And be like, hey, I got $1,000. I'm waiting for the million, and then I'm going to sell at the top. And it's okay if you get everything covered to wait another 4 years, 6 years for that. You know, certainly other people have done that, but it might not be a good thing. Um, OBX is saying Sol did this with the purchase of phone. I remember that back when. I don't. I guess I don't have enough detail to know if it did really blow them up or not.
So you got
Um,
free Solana when you purchased the phone? Is that the deal?
no, it was like they had the Solana phone that you could buy. I think, or it came with something. I'm not sure what the deal was because I wasn't paying attention to it. You know, but he's saying they just dropped the people that purchased. Oh, they had sold, dropped the people that purchased the phone. Yeah. All right. So what's Kyle? Kyle. How you doing, buddy? Never been done before, and as long as he doesn't talk about what his PP size is, the virtual postcard will be cool. Yeah, I was thinking maybe it would just be like a pop up, can or something.
And the
Maybe
free
not. Yeah,
coupon for Red Bull.
yeah, maybe three. Yeah, maybe a co partnership and sponsoring. Right, we get a lot there. Um, Poly 68 saying the cycle's behind last cycle this time. 4 years ago, about 2 months or so. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Polly, that's what I'm getting at too, my thinking, right? So last cycle we did, quote unquote, the cycle ended at the second top, right? Even though the blow off top happened in the spring of 21. But the cycle before that, it really kind of ended in end of December. So it was going for it was kind of like moving up a little bit in time, but none of this is enough. We don't have enough information to like make a conclusion that things are going to move in one direction or another. But I agree with you that just how things look, it looks like things are delayed. We're just not getting the kind of retail in that would cause a blow off top. And I'm pretty sure that the people on Wall Street that have come in, they're looking to make some money, right? And you don't make money by buying at the same price you sell or selling at the same price you buy. And so they are looking for that to happen. And so that may cause their hands to be sticky, for a while with this stuff. Um, so we'll see how that all goes. But it's pretty exciting. I mean, we'll see it. We'll see the effects on Pulse Chain when ETH goes. ETH has been looking pretty good. Not at the
Yeah.
kind of prices I would expect to see, but yeah. Um, but it looks like a solid Wyckoff distribution test, right? And then now accumulation. So nobody's dropped it, right? I mean, we didn't see it come back down to 1,500 or something,
Nope.
And
You see
so
some big names starting to talk about ETH too.
yeah, and then if I'm not mistaken, some people have been posting about BlackRock buying and et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, yep, yep.
I think it's only a matter of time before we start to see some bigger names start to talk about Hex and Pulse Chain. I think there's going to be a time where they're either going to come back or they're going to jump on board.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of people have been watching the coin token. I got disgruntled
For
with
that
that last time, so I've been ignoring coin token or not coin token, the coin stock,
Coinbase.
or yeah, Coinbase stock for a while. But coin is out there, and of course he's talking about the app rank, and so
Yeah.
yeah, if it goes way up in ranking, it'll be a way to kind of measure the number of people coming in. Though remember, there are more options in Coinbase now too. You know, things are
True.
things.
That's also changed.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different things. Uh, Polly wants a cracker. He or she is saying, "Hey, green candles make things all better." They will. I mean, so many people. I do a lot of my measurements all in pulse, and so I'm expecting a lot of things are going to be like, this didn't do too good, because it didn't go up pulse value. But boy, that USD is going to go up. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you watch that pulse ratio. If you see things that can't keep up, it might be time to get out of them. Or if you're supporting that token, figure out how to get that swapped, so that you end up with a higher ratio.
Yep. I think
You
that
know.
the tokens that have like a good bonded liquidity to richer hard assets are probably going to do just fine.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, that's what I think. No,
Yeah.
but
What,
essentially
what do we what do we know? What do we
Uh,
know?
yeah, well, essentially everything's tied at some point to pulse, right? It has to be.
Yeah.
There's only one or two exceptions to that I would say that that's not the case. Like Johnny Chaos created a surgical trainer's token that's out there that's pegged to a hard floor of $1. Actually, it's more than $1 now, but hard floor, and that's not going to go up significantly with Pulse at the moment because of the LP setup, but it ain't going down. But um, besides that, most tokens on stables, right? They're going to have that opportunity to rise, and
Yep. It'd
then
almost be hard to launch a token on Pulse Chain and not have the price of Pulse affect that token, right? Like you'd have to really work at it.
all right. Tom Lee saying, or not Tom Lee, Polly saying Tom Lee is all in ETH. Yeah, I saw something about that. I think.
Yeah, I did
Uh,
too.
let's see. I don't know what indica is. You guys know what indica is?
No idea.
I don't know what that is. All right. Buying cigars for everybody when Hex hits $1. Yeah. Yeah. Let's meet up in Dubai. All right. I've never been to Dubai. I've been to the airport, but I haven't been to Dubai. And I've been to Abu Dhabi too, but I haven't gone in. I wouldn't mind getting a cigar though. That's for sure. I got a box right here. And Moon Mutt, good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. The 9.99. I think that's USD.
Hey, Moonmut.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So yeah, yeah. All right, McSlammin, thanks. I'll look up indica later.
Yeah, he's
Sne-
right. It
sne-
is. There's like sativa
Sneaky.
and then indica or like the weed varieties.
It's the weed. Hey, so for everybody listening, what's your temperature now on Pulse Chain and Hex? I mean, are we believing like this is the time where we're all going to regret not buying or what? I don't know. I don't know. People I know, we're beat, man. People are beat. They're just like so tired. There's been like somebody had said earlier, this has been an emotional roller coaster for longer than just 4 years at this point. You know.
I think Richard understands timing, and I think that is the when we're tired. When you're seeing the bottom signals, you're seeing people fall off. That's the time for him to to start pushing things forward, like this marketing package that we're talking about, etc.
Yeah, well, this kind of matches up with the previous comment about September. July usually pretty good months. Things get rolling a little bit. You get into August, that's kind of like that 2 month time frame that RH had talked about. Um, Love them or hate them, Richard starts streaming, and maybe right if he was to do
Yep,
that, that would coincide with this July August time frame, just in time for everybody to know about these devices they're receiving in the mail, and they can go to his channel, you know, to go watch him and hear what he's talking about. So it could be a massive storm, right?
totally. Even if they were only pre-recorded streams, right? It'd
Mm.
be huge. Like yeah, people like, and I think the numbers were big. Like it's like 10 million of these things go out. People go to watch his streams, then they go back and like there's gonna be some people that get hooked that watch all his streams ever, right? Like consume like 800 hours
Hmm.
of content,
Hmm.
and
Well,
we're gonna
yeah,
have some more community members from this.
I think that's certainly a possibility. Just thinking back to what was my attraction to listening to Richard in the beginning? Had to do with having a lot of common understandings, and common thoughts that he had, that he was expressing. And then there was also a good 20-25% of, hey, the advice, life advice. I don't think I needed some of the advice, but some of it was really good advice, you know,
Hmm.
and
Agree.
reinforcing. So I think all that comes in. So I think you're right. You definitely could end up with some people that are going to watch all of the streams, you know, and so it's going to be hard for anybody listening who's a bit bitter right now. But you've been through the mill already, and you've kind of been washed, and rinsed and beat up by everything that's going on. But you got to remember, a new person coming in, they see those green candles, they're like, he was right all the time, man. These people, it's going to be great that way if that
Totally.
if that does happen, because they'll be like, see, I don't know what all these guys and ladies were bitching about. I mean, look how great everything is, right?
And that you
I
bring
mean,
up a good point because, and like, I don't think we should have any expectations, but logically, this marketing would work better if it happened to coincide with green candles.
oh yeah, man. Well, that's what that September timeframe would fit right in there.
Yep.
It would. It would. So McSlammin saying there's been a clear shift in the community mood. It's really amazing how accurate the cheat sheet behaviors. Like, yeah, no, that's that Wall Street cheat sheet and some other things that are out there, just kind of explaining the psychology. It's kind of crazy. It's like we're all conditioned for this. I hate it, but I'm affected by it too. I see a green candle, I feel one way. I see a red candle, I feel the other way. Right. And as
Totally.
much of it as much of a joke as it is, if you switch the colors, I feel better. Right.
Or turn the chart upside
So,
down.
and that's why you got to really stop and think, about things. Oh, hey, McSlammin, before you go too far, I don't know if you took a chance to go look at this or had a chance to look at it, but with those HSI stakes, if you haven't checked out Actuator, go check out Actuator. I mentioned it a little bit earlier here, but that's been a really good protocol for retaining ownership of HSI stakes, hex, staking instances or mining instances, but also being able to use it for value. You don't lose your hedron or anything like that, and you can always reverse the process and cash it out for ICOSA if ICOSA ever comes back. I've brought it up a couple times. But I don't know how far that protocol has penetrated into the holders of HSIs. You know, I was holding off for a long time doing anything with it because, um, specifically with my HSIs, because I wanted to wait and see what was going to happen with Alex and version
Yep.
two, but nothing has happened yet. So, you know, I kind of
Not
moved
yet.
on.
Oh, I still have some hope there. Last things Alex did post about it sounded bullish, but yeah, it's
Oh
been a
yeah,
hot
yeah,
minute since he's made any sort of announcement.
yeah, yeah. Listen, God bless. I hope he comes out with something great. He has come out with some good stuff in the past. These things take some time, and I'm assuming that he's still working on stuff he didn't say he wasn't. So
Nope. But yeah, he hasn't said anything since May, however. So we shall see.
has it been that long? Yeah, I guess it has been.
May 9th is what I see. Well, what he
Hmm?
says is bullish, right? He says what is needed more right now than ever is unification, something that nearly every person in Pulse Chain can point at and say, I like that. Something that reduces complexity and reduces entropy of the liquidity state as a whole. It's like, okay, that sounds smart. Please do that, Alex. But yeah, no idea what he's talking about specifically.
I'm glad you said that because I didn't want to say it. But I get the idea is trying to reduce friction, in the system and create something. But until I see it, but I didn't understand some other stuff. So it takes me
In the
takes me a
past,
little
he's
bit
talked
of time.
about like uniting the hexes type thing, right? So
Hmm.
maybe a way to stake your EHEX on Pulse Chain, like something like that. There could be some games.
All right. Hey, let me switch topics for you just for a moment, since we have this
Good.
comment. Satan saying that I'm going to be here for the next 15 to 20 years. So Hex has this 15-year cycle, right? Because of the 15-year staking. And yeah, so where are my Quattro Cinco peeps at? Who's doing Quattro Cincos? So I looked at the number of stakes in the last monthly I'm reviewing this, and We had 127 individual wallets, or excuse me, about 100 individual wallets stake Quattro Cinco for 127 stakes. And so, yeah, the trend is low. I mean, I don't have the numbers off the top of my head, but I'll look while I'm here because you know what, I have it on my screen, so I'll tell you exactly what I got. So 15 million hex went out Quattro Cinco this last month. And that was for, looks like 1,000 T shares. Only 7 of those were HSIs, though, that I can tell. And this is on the Pulse Chain side. So this is totally not financial advice. Not financial advice. I think the risk reward asymmetrical gain on doing a Quattro Cinco stake is like insane. Can't prove it to you. You know, I can talk about the supply and demand, and I can talk about the T-share rate going up and how hard it is going to get T-shares, and we can even talk and speculate about Hex being $1, $5. But until that happens, people aren't going to really get it. And so I'm very much believing, and again, not financial advice, that you got to push this button. Like, I'm going to take a risk on the idea that Hex is going to do something phenomenal, and that having myself locked up in Hex is going to be a good thing. And it doesn't mean that's the only thing you should do. But, you know, geez, what did we say the price was? What's 100,000 Hex right now? Which is kind of, it could be a lot for a lot of people, but 100,000 Hex times 0.005 is a $500 type of a number. So, man, that would be a hell of a thing. And if you go, there's other ways you can do it other than native staking. But I'm coming to believe that those Hex T-shares are going to be pretty important. Anyways, that's my little aside, Mr. Fast Abdul. I mean, I don't know. I did do it. I did it both chains this month in May. So I don't know why people wouldn't do it. You know, but 100 people, 100 wallets ain't a lot, man. Ain't a lot,
Yeah.
which only makes it even more scarce and more phenomenal for the ones that do it, because that's the crazy part.
Right. I'm more interested in the juicy gossip speculation details about what the OA could do with some of the buttons that it has to push to change the scenario for Hex in the next year or two even.
I don't think the OA is going to be doing anything, but maybe we'll see. We'll see. They could,
Yep.
but I didn't anticipate what would happen anyway. So, I
Well, like
mean,
logically, like if Hex is paying relatively low amount to stakers right now, and then that amount went up to, let's say, 38%, I think that would affect the price.
yeah, I
And
think,
that could be a thing.
yeah, but I think the 38% would come in with like a 10 times value of Hex or something. So that
Yeah, that's also handy.
if you did your calculation with USD, um, the only way the payouts could go up is for the T-shares to be eliminated.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of boxes that would have to be checked and reasons before I would expect the OA to do merge end stakes. But, and I wouldn't expect is even the wrong word.
It's not even that drastic for like, because of the way those work. Like with a large portion going back to the OA and another large portion going to Hex takers, the OA being the current largest Hex taker, that like it's not that big a lever to pull.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it would change the entire math of the thing would change drastically. Though I think that would be that'd be something for when things are bullish. That could be a hot move.
Could be. So hey, Mark, this is over on my channel, so we're not on Maddie's channel. We were going to do it on Maddie's channel, but Maddie is tied up. Not literally, he's busy doing something else, so he's not here with us. And then a second comment: this is exactly my point? Why would someone lock up their coins for 15 years for a pitiful APY? Exactly. The problem is going to be, this is the problem, Mark, right? Or I should say the opportunity. If things change, It's a big if, right? It's speculation. But if things change, you can't go back in time. That's that's the key, right? And so even as we sit here, and I know, man, even I cringe a little bit whenever I say, high prices, and I'm like, well, it could go to $1, $5, but it really changes things, doesn't it? I mean, uh, something that pays you $10 a day, which would be like a t-shirt or something, like it's one and a half right now per t-shirt, but one and a half X, but something that just to round it off like $10, that is pretty exciting to some people, right? I just need one t-shirt, I get paid $10, right? And then if my return on investment was that I had bought it earlier and I had gotten it cheaper, then my sunk cost is really, really low. It could be explosive. But the thing is people, if that was to happen, don't know if it will happen, but if that was to happen, you can't go back in time and get the t-shirts at the cheaper price. You could pay the higher price. And that's why I call it, it's an asymmetrical gamble to do it. But I get you, man. Listen, we can well watch the charts, right? People trading all the time, and things are going on. The new emit farms came out, thousands of percent APR. Who dat farms? Uh, by that who dat? What's the name of that farm? Homey
Mm,
Farms. Homey
Homey
Farms
farms, yeah.
came. Homey Farms came out. We got the two P Hucks. You can go over there and make
Yeah.
80% APR. Yeah, so it's kind of like, but they all have different like hairs on them. But it's kind of like, why would I put all my value? This is the kind of question I get just like this from Mark. Why would I lock up for 15 years when I can't do anything with them? And yeah, but I still say exposure, particularly when everybody else is fading, it might be a good thing. Well, I might be wrong about it, but at least I put my own hex in there, so it's me doing it. So
And moderation is a thing, right? Like you don't have to lock up everything you have for 15 years. You could, you could do some like Pulse Chain is so cheap to do transactions. So you could have $50 in this farm, $50 in that farm, and then if you want to stake $50 for the hex for 15 years, like it's not
mm,
probably not going to kill you to stake it or unstake it for fees on either end. So yeah, do a little bit of everything, but have a plan, right? And thinking 15 years in the future is going to be a win for most people anyway, regardless of what happens. If you're thinking about your finances 15 years from now, I bet you a very small percentage of the population does that.
yeah, 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 a very small percentage. Yeah, just the fact that you can lock it away and leave it alone, not do anything with it is good. A lot of times with just the hex staking in general, even before we have the lower APRs. The argument is, well, yeah, but I can do these other things, right, for not higher amounts, and it's not locked up. I have the flexibility, but most people don't consider the risk that's involved with that. And there's a variety of risks, and maybe your risk profile is okay, and it's fine. You want to take those risks, but just even the simple discussions. I'm not trying to like say the world, the sky is falling, but simple things like, hey, I'm just going to buy the top and buy the bottom. Okay, makes sense. Do it.
Yep.
Do it. But the thing is we know that's a game of it's a race, right? And you have that kind of a risk, that you don't actually time it right. Not to mention also, other people are going to be competing against you, right, to do that. And then a lot of people, particularly when you're younger, you have value. Most people like, man, they're like F it. They get this value and they want the gratification now. They're going to go chase something shiny. Maybe that's going to make them $1 million. And I bet you a lot of people have seen the loss of a lot of their pulse and pulse X because the farms have been down. As an example, a lot of people that have hex, not all of them are keeping them liquid. There's some like absurdly low number of liquid hex out there, so people are trading it out, and they're not keeping them. And then to the point that let's see, what did Hex Wizard was asking this? Yeah, there's not that much to buy. I mean, it's less than a billion hex on both types. So you know, so there's not
Yep.
there's not a lot of hex out there, and people do take it off the market. It's kind of like the cycle, how cycles work, anyways. Is the idea that during this phase of accumulation here, right? The market makers deliberately do not put the units on the market, or they take them off the market. People either buy them off or they reduce the LP. Why? Because they don't want to sell it cheap, right? And so then, if and when there is a run up, that's when the distribution takes place as the price goes up. They call that a distribution of the tokens. So, yeah, yeah. So let's see what Kyle's saying over here. Imagine missing that run, though. I personally think Hex isn't meant for individual staking anymore, unless you're a whale, maybe. Yeah, it's possible. I get the concept. I mean, even I've warmed up to the idea that, as much of a stickler as I am for native staking, that perhaps HSIs are a better take on things for me in some cases. But certainly a different profile of risk. Sorry there, Mr. Fast. What were you going to say?
No, I partly agree that it is, that could be the case, that it becomes more of an institutional thing, to stake Hex, which could be cool enough, right? Like, what if there's just more protocols built around it, things like Actuator, right? Like ways
Yeah.
to participate with Hex stakes and be liquid. It's not a terrible concept, and it doesn't necessarily hurt the system.
Yep. Yep. And then Shell Fox is saying, I think the push for a centralized exchange is going to be pushed heavily in digital media. How hopefully the king of spam can outsmart the mainstream, save them with a real world. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Never forget, right? I mean, again, hate Richard, love him. I mean, he got the reputation that he got for a reason. He was pretty successful at this stuff. So, it's more likely he'll be successful than not in whatever he tries to do. And yeah, I mean, I say it that way because I'm not trying to create an embattled discussion here. I mean, I know a lot of people pissed off, right? But there's also a lot of true believers, like X Farmer. I highly recommend staking for anyone. Yield will return to 36.9% someday. I think you're right. I think you're right. Can't prove it to you though. Don't know what happened. But a certain dollar value, that's what it'll be in USD. McSlam is talking about the perps. They're still good. I mean, that Desi, the Maxi,
Yep.
both have been good buys.
And there's
Hedron's
stuff you
been,
can do with them. You can farm with that stuff, right? So you
yeah.
can be very active with your 15-year hex stake equivalents.
Yeah, I know conceptually too with the Hedron, it's hard for people to get their heads around this. Maxi, Desi, Hedron, the liquidity is so low. It is
True.
so low that those things can go like it's really a perfect setup for overperformance by 10, 20x. But of course, you're going to be subject to the reverse when you try to pull out, and that's going to be a problem, because I heard somebody talking about this with PDI. Maybe it was you. I don't know. Somebody was talking about PDI the other day.
Right?
And as much as as much as I like the narrative, the idea of PDI going to $1 as a meme token, yada yada yada, right? Take PDI off there for a moment and pick any token and say, hey, it's going to go to $1. It's going to be worth it's going to be worth millions and billions of dollars. But if it's only got a couple $1 million in liquidity, people can't extract it, right? So we know from the stuff that Sloth did, we've done, that there is a maximum extractable value, right?
It's easy to
Um,
make a token go to $1 if it has nearly no liquidity, right? But yeah, to have the base where people could sell it for $1 for a period of time, that's the trick.
Now that doesn't mean that community can't make something happen long term, and some of those guys and ladies would be like, right now they're like just throwing daggers at the screen, but it doesn't mean they can't change it, right? This is the same argument that I heard in 2017 about Bitcoin and why it wasn't going to be valuable. Same argument I heard about ETH and why it wasn't valuable. That's how it got fudded out, right? Because some of it's like academic discussion. Like, so okay, so I heard all that then, and I didn't buy Bitcoin for 700 or 800 bucks or 1,200 bucks, and or 2,000. But anybody tell me that that was the right move now? I'd be like, no, dummy. I mean, it went up 100x, right? Um, I bought ETH, or I could have bought ETH at $1.82. Did I load up the truck? No. So yeah, things do change over time. And so while it may be true today that things, whatever, pick your token, doesn't matter. The liquidity is not there. You make the same argument for Pulse, right? I mean, you can't get
Yeah.
all the Pulse out. I mean, there's only so much LP out there, but it's more about what's going to be built into the future. I think. I think. Um,
Agreed.
yes. Yeah, Kyle is definitely not a risk reward guy for Hex. Too much speculation. I don't know. I agree. I think the opposite. That's one of the reasons I keep getting more and more bullish. I mean, I just told you like 100 wallets did Quattro Cinco's when that should be right now after 5 years. That should be like the primary thing going on is Quattro Cinco's, and that just means that people are fading it, which means it's contrarian, you know. But hey, you know what? It's DeFi. So people do whatever the hell they want, right? Do what you want.
That's the whole point of DeFi. No middleman.
What else we got? See anything else? I'm looking through these comments, see what else there's out there. People might be talking about. What else you want to talk about?
Well, I think just as a public service announcement, if we touch a little bit on the Richard's recent posts and sort of the things that he's asking of the community. So there's somebody watching, and they can pitch in, and they can do so. He was talking about setting up charities. Apparently, there's a couple set up in the U.S., but he's looking for people to set up charities that could distribute these free gifts in Canada, the UK, and Australia. So if you're into that, and you're a person who can do the admin work, which I think is what's required, then yeah, reach out. We'll hook you up with the right people. SJ is running a little room, like a Telegram room, where people are talking about stuff like that. I'll find a link to it, because I think that's a big step in the marketing plan is that these charities get set up in every relevant country, and then they can receive these shipments of gifts and not pay import duty. And then they often, in the US and Canada at least, I've looked at, they receive a discount, a large discount in the US, it's like half price on distribution of the item via USPS, for example. So yeah, it's all part of the plan.
Yeah,
I'm gonna drop the link in the private chat here to the Telegram room.
give it to me, baby.
Where people are discussing this, and maybe you could drop it in the main chat there. I don't think I'm an admin.
I'll get it. I'm traveling all over the place. Let's see. For some reason, copying it is problematic for me today. All right. I got it. Dropping it in the chat now. Let's see. That's for the Telegram. Yeah, I see a
That
lot of
Telegram
really.
room, they go over all the details, right?
Yeah.
And if you're a person who can either do admin work or no, about shipping, about mailing, like it's there's community work to be done there for charity, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
It was
All
good to
right.
support charity.
Let's see. Yeah, wall to wall TV's got a bunch of stuff. I'm not gonna go into all your stuff, wall to wall, but I get your points on this stuff. Hey, Crispy's Hex data was nuked by RH, another in a long line, Wales only, Gerardo, blah blah blah. Well, my Hex data actually didn't get nuked. It is troublesome sometimes to get it lined up again. Certainly the past, I got the past, right? And so what it did do is though change the forecast for the future. So that's for sure. So for all of us who are like, hey, in 15 years, it looks like the payouts might be 22 hex per T-share. No, that's not happening based on the current setup for sure. But we have the information, so we can do it. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Christopher's commenting on big stakes are letting them bleed on purpose. Yeah, there's some of those. I have a conspiracy theory on some of that as well. Just the idea that there are entities that do that, but I don't know that that's who that is, right?
Neil
Let's
has
see.
an interesting question there.
Oh, which one?
It's close to the bottom. He says, "Is there a DApp to create multiple stakes at once?" Now, why
Yeah,
would
that
you want that DApp? Is the question.
just because it's a lot easier. Well, maybe it's not easier. The answer is going to be no at the moment. I don't believe there is one. Well, I I, I thought maybe I don't want to misspeak. I thought maybe Hex Scout allowed you to do it. Technically, you could do it, but you have to push the buttons all the same. I
Like
mean,
for a staking ladder, would that be the purpose? So I could like put it,
yeah,
fill in the boxes,
yeah,
make my staking ladder, press the button. Because
yeah.
bigger pays better, so you don't want to have multiple stakes that are the same length unless you have, some other wild
No, but
plan, right?
you might set up the ladder and configure it, and yeah, somebody could build a contract to do it. You probably could build. Maybe somebody has, and I just don't know. You build a contract to do it, and you go out one, just for sake of argument, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 15 years, and you put
Right.
the amount of X, and you push the
Yeah.
button, and then it would cycle through. Well, I
Yeah,
think,
you'd have to approve it every time, but like that could actually be a cool tool. I don't know.
yeah, like I said, one of the I don't know if anybody's done that, but they
Like if
might
it
have.
had that
They
and it
might
had the
have.
calculator all built in, so it'd be like build your staking ladder, fill in the boxes,
Mm.
press the button, and obviously you're gonna have 20 approvals that pop up, but like, you just keep pressing the button, right? Like that'd
Yeah,
be
you could do it that way. Yeah, yeah,
cool.
yeah.
The
Yeah.
trouble with the apps like that, like it's obviously it's cool. I like the concept, but it's like it's not a paying job to create an app like that, right? Like that is a community support charitable effort. So you're probably not going to get big teams working on it.
All
An
right,
overview of
Mister.
ink printer.
Yeah, tell us about the ink printer. What's new?
Yeah, ink printer's running strong. Let me just refresh my numbers here. So we got 3.11 million ink, which is somewhere between 5 and 6% of the total supply, is locked in or the current supply rather, is locked inside ink printer. So pretty happy with that. It's got almost $1 million worth of ink dollars that have been minted right now. And we're a couple months in, right? So it had its like,
Mhm.
bang, this is new thing, and it's now not the new thing. It has a much lower collateral ratio than the other liquidity forks on Pulse Chain, meaning that you don't have to put as much in to take a little bit out as you would with liquid loan or earn or flex right now, in order to avoid being redeemed against, which is maybe a longer discussion. But I'm pretty happy with this going, and we have our first upgrade, the print, right? Liquid stake print. It now has, I think, 7% of all print tokens are in that contract, using the fees to basically buy print, take it off the market forever. And then we're going to have our next upgrade, which will be the Incinerator token that will, again, buy print off the market and reward people with ink for holding it. That'll be a farming token in custom farms that the Hocus Pocus boys are building for me. So that's in testing. I talked to those guys. They're going through the details, but we're doing something new that nobody's ever really done with this. So there's going to be a couple more tests before we
That's
decide it's
pretty
ready
cool.
for the market. But yeah, fix the money, fix the world. That's the plan.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I dabbled a little bit with ink printer, but only a little bit. Um, but
Not
yeah,
not
I like it.
everybody's ready for has to it's you can use this for leverage on your ink, right? And if you don't want to get into leverage, then maybe that's not the play, right? But
Yeah,
people
yeah,
can
yeah.
just
Exactly.
be in stables, and there's like the ink dollar stable coin. You can stake that single side, paying 12.63% right now.
Yeah,
Right. So
that part's pretty good, and plus you get the
yep,
redemption stuff right with them.
yep.
And so I did a little bit of that. I'm a degen, man. I guess at my heart. See, idle hands. Yeah, degen city.
Even if people just stake in something though, even if it's not locked, like when you stake with ink printer, like either the print token or the ink dollar, like you can pull it out at any time. But like if once people do an action like that, they're more likely to let it be status quo than if it was just sitting loose in their wallet. When it's sitting loose in their wallet, like it's kind of like it's money burning a hole in their pocket. They're more likely to make a mistake and spend it on something else, right? Buy chocolate
Oh
bars and
yeah,
candy and meme coins.
yeah. I sent way too many tokens today to a freaking token contract. God damn. I mean, I'm so careful, and yeah. I mean, you can make
Oh shit,
mistakes.
man! Oh, that's terrible.
I mean, it happens, right? I mean, I didn't do it on
Yeah,
purpose. Yeah, it wasn't anybody's fault but mine. I put the wrong goddamn address and pasted it. But
yeah,
that's it. Hey, so Hex Farmer saying this, going back to Hex topic a little bit. Sooner Hex staking is better for T-shirt rate. Yeah, it's another key. Um,
interesting.
fair or not, T-shirt rate goes up and to the right, and in Hex, and the people who have stakes that have earned a ton of yield in the past, they are in the best position to get new T-shares because they have all that extra reward and yield when they were earning maybe the 40% APR, 36, 80, 38%. Some are a lot higher than that, because they got the big paydays and whatnot. They're in the best position. New folks, when you're staking short and your stake ends, you don't have enough yield or rewards to really keep your T-shares. So what's happened is new people who might believe they're going to have a harder time getting their T-shirts and keeping their T-shirt count at a similar level. The old folks they're already in the system, they're the best positioned, and they're fading it. So it's creating this really weird situation like that. Where again, opportunity maybe for those who believe in the long term for them. All right, let's see. That was Hex Farmer. Let's get down here through our list. I know you only had about an hour, so we could do this. Yeah. Wall to wall. No worries, my friend. I understand how you feel about stuff. Um,
It's okay to be
Tim.
spicy as long as you're polite. That's
Yeah,
fine.
I mean, there's nothing wrong. Listen, I'm hear all this stuff all the time too. Hey,
Yeah,
listen, I even think some of it. I wonder what if you can't brainstorm stuff. You don't think about bad stuff too.
agreed.
But it might be bad stuff. All right, let's see. Tim Harris. Hey, world traveler, Thailand, huh? Wow. Uh, yeah.
Hey,
Hex
Chang.
farmer. I dare you. I dare you guys. Make Pete I go to $1. It'd be fun. That'd be fun.
It wouldn't be. It would be fantastic. But yeah, the amount of financial energy is my issue there right now.
Yeah, yeah. Well, listen. There's a lot going on with that purple Bitcoin, and PDI came back up, and so yeah, people are making they're trading, right? That's what happens, right? Or some
Yeah,
people making some money, and people sold at the bottom, and other people bought, and now people are chasing. You know how many people told me this week they were thinking about how they get their PDI back? Ah, you know, but whatever. We'll just move on off that subject too, because I'm
yep.
not looking to do that. Hey, Triple Alliance, good to see you. He's here to
Yeah.
here to make friends, influence clubs. Yeah,
And he does a
yeah,
good job at that. Actually,
yeah, dude.
I have
He's
him in
pretty.
all my Telegram rooms. He's my guy.
Yeah, he's like super busy, and not even just in yours. He's in other ones too.
Yeah. I'll tell you
Like
a story. Like when I was new to the Pulse chain, I started joining these Telegram rooms. I never really got in. I didn't use Telegram before the Pulse chain, basically. So it was like, before the Pulse chain launched, like a long time before, obviously. I started joining all these rooms, and the Triple Alliance was in all the rooms, and he was an admin in like a lot of the biggest rooms. So I was like, for a while, I thought, well, he just must be the guy in charge of this Pulse chain thing. He
yeah,
seemed to
yeah,
be,
but
he
I
was
thought he was.
everywhere, and he
I
was
thought
in
he was the
charge.
Triple Alliance bot. For a while.
Yeah, yeah,
But
it could be 47 Filipinos. It's also possible.
hey, listen, if that works, and
Oh,
it's a
totally.
paying gig, I mean that's okay. Hey, Coin Critic, good to see you. People can good account other folks' stakes using the community tab to get free com. Yeah, there's I think somebody's doing it with a bot, but they might be doing it by hand too, because I've seen some of them not do it. So on the Pulse chain, when you have stakes that end that or have reached their their expiration and somebody doesn't end them, you can go in a certain period of time and get a count them, and you get paid communis for it. The communis is out there, and yeah, yeah. So we have that going on. And then Coin Critic, I think you're the same Coin Critic from Telegram. So I'm looking at that Helgo pretty closely. I'm gonna do some sort of a stream with my limited understanding about Helgo. Helgo is
We
one of the
talked to
top
those guys
tokens.
before. They have some game theory.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it's been around from the very beginning. It's
You
funny.
ever look at the liquidity? They have huge
Oh,
liquidity.
it's huge. It was number one of the number. I shouldn't say number one token. It's one of the top 10 tokens on Pulse Chain.
Yep.
And it's done pretty well against Hex. So that's on that. And truth be told, I got my goat. I think it's a goat NFT or something in the
Yeah,
beginning, right? But I
that's how they
haven't
work.
really, I didn't do much more than just set it and forget it, you know, and did that. But I think it'd be fair to go back and talk about that a little bit with people and give them another option. I've kind of loosened up on my approach, as you can tell, right? I'm talking about a lot of stuff that I'm aware of or involved in. Not
Helgo has $2.2 million liquidity with Hex, so
Yeah,
there's definitely
it's huge.
there's a connection.
It's nothing to sneeze at, you know. So for the max people, I'm sorry, but there's like levels of maxi.
Indeed,
All
agreed.
right, let's what else we have out here? Yeah, yeah. K4 Crypto might have been talking about staking ladder tool in the past. NJW. I just don't know if it was built. Somebody might have built it. The problem with it is that it's not like a difficult concept to build in the tool. Not at all. I'm sure somebody listening here could build it overnight. I think it's just because it's just like when you wanted to like claim a bunch of hedron all at one time from a bunch of stakes. It's this big daisy chain of transactions. And why spend the money, the time, the effort to build something that just lets the guy or lady who's going to do it, you know, do it all at one time by pushing the button, right? There's a little bit of edge, but not much edge on it. So that's probably why we haven't seen it. Most people aren't doing like a whole ladder at one time. So anyways, even as cool as it is, but maybe the future case for Hex might be different, and that might be a thing. So,
Yep.
but again, if there's a tool like that out, somebody post it, right? Because I just don't remember if it ever got made. Yep, Hex Wizards talking about the whales buying the ETH. They are buying the ETH. Yeah, 4K is like a snap, like overnight. For that. Diamond Head Degenerate. I don't know. I might have already answered what site it was. I don't know which site you mean. Oh yeah, it's in here in the chat. I already posted it somewhere down here.
I think he's looking for ink printer, probably.
Yeah,
I think that's
yeah.
probably when he posted.
It's two comments. It's one comment below you. There you go. All right. Sack noodles. Let's see what else we got. Expect the unexpected. Yeah, Alliance. I know, man. Wait and see. Hey, Soul, I'm wearing glasses, man. So you can't be complaining. Hey, Ryan Lopez, man, how you doing? Long time no see. No time. No time. Yeah, and then oh yeah, some some guy. Yeah, Coin Critic. Yeah, that's why I was asking in the chat about the articles. What you guys consider to be like the one pager on Helgo? Just get the word out a little bit more. I didn't want to misstate anything. Let's see what else we got out here. Yeah, I know you're real. From Australia.
Yep.
Triple ones.
I can confirm. I've talked to him before. He has an Australian accent.
I believe it. All right. Let's see what else we got. We got anything else in the chat that we should be going after? Oh, who is my guest? You don't know this handsome gentleman?
We have no name tags, man.
Yeah, he's the
It could
banana
be
guy.
anyone.
You're the banana guy. Is that what it is? Are you the banana guy? I don't know if you're the banana guy. Hey, so I don't know what that means. I got a question for you though.
Go ahead.
All right, so Yeah, you got to go. Beach whale just fired up a stick. I know what he's talking about. We're talking about cigars, probably. I'm going to fire one up here in a few minutes. This is unrelated to crypto, but a little bit of information was. So, which are they considered to be martial arts that you're involved in, Mister Here for the Tech? Is that what?
Yeah, yeah. Like jujitsu and MMA would be martial arts. Yeah, definitely
No. So
by
if you're talking about,
definition.
so if you're doing jujitsu, right?
Yeah.
What is what's the equivalent of a Richard Hart 5 minute workout a day that would benefit you the most? What do you think?
The best way to train for jujitsu is doing jujitsu. Period. Like so,
Yes.
so like I've heard that before, right? The new guys will come in and it's hard, and they're like, okay, well maybe I should go work out and do some things so that I can come do this again. But like that's not the answer. Is like no, just keep coming, right? So it's
So
like
there's no solo. There's no solo moves. That's what you're saying.
well, no, there like you can do things by yourselves like movements, right, stuff like that, right? But like if a person wanted to get into jujitsu, the finding a gym that suits you and just doing it is going to be much better than like working on your flexibility, or like there's things that guys do, right? Like yeah, you can do pull-ups and sit-ups and do all the things, like yeah, being in better shape is better, but it's like nothing applies to training for jujitsu like doing jujitsu, because it's like there's a lot of there's a lot of things that you wouldn't pick up by just being in a gym and lifting weights or things like that. So that would be my recommendation. Like if you're
So
looking at it, like
there's no wax on, wax off. You know,
the the
there's
the
no.
majority of the time training for jujitsu, it's spent doing jujitsu. Period. Uh, it's yeah, like, and it's not necessarily fighting people. It's like like you're usually touching another person, but like you're training a move. You do repeat the move like 40 times, right? Like you're moving your body around, right? Not everybody does the fighting part early on. So like a normal jujitsu practice, you'll come in, do like a warm up, right? Run around in circles a couple times, touch your toes kind of thing. Some guys come in earlier and stretch and stuff like that. It's probably a good idea. But then you start practicing moves. So your professor, which is what you call a jujitsu black belt, he'll demo a move on somebody, and then everybody will practice that
So
move 20, 30 times, and then you
are
do
you
the
a professor?
nope. If I'm ever going to be a professor, that would be my path, but not as of yet. I'm two belts away from that.
Hmm. Do you have a professor that likes crypto?
They're not really crypto guys. I do talk to them about it though. They know what I'm into, right? And we do
They're
talk
not.
through it, talk about it.
They're not like coin throwing guys or anything, right? Like so as a
Not so
weapon.
much,
I
yeah.
guess that's yeah. That's not so
They'd
much.
be good ringers for that. You know that the fight thing that like BitBoy did. Like if we could get them into crypto and then like push them into that, they could probably really wreck that system. But it's okay. But for that, like for training for jujitsu, you go through, you train the moves after a warm up, and then at the end of the class, usually the last 30 minutes to an hour, depending on the level, you actually pair off and you we call it rolling. But you're fighting with people, right? Like until somebody taps out. Um, but new guys don't do that usually. Usually the class is over for them before that part. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
it's reasonably light and safe for the first timer typically, and the a good professor will protect you, right? So the best advice is check out a couple different gyms and see where you feel comfortable, because that's a very important part of it. And just
So
show up. And
no pulse jujitsu show anytime soon.
probably not, but you never know. I might
Mm.
embrace my jujitsu roots and bring it to crypto.
That'd be pretty cool.
We'll tokenize it.
Well, I thank you for that explanation because I don't know much about it. So
Yeah.
now I know a whole bunch more. I know a whole bunch more. All right, so I'm looking through the chats here, see if we got anything else. Yeah, yeah, some different comments and whatnot. I guess this is probably the last one here. Super Stake guys built a auto end staker on ETH, but never released it because it went against the whole ethos HEX. So I don't know what that is, but I should really talk to Triplet Dad about that. He's here in the chats somewhere. Maybe dig into it. All right. Well, I don't know. I don't have anything else really to go after for tonight. I'm gonna smoke a cigar though.
I think we've touched on the important things. Oh, important announcement. Today is Canada Day.
Oh, Canada.
So happy Canada Day, everyone.
I'm not sure what that means. Oh, hey,
July 1st is Canada Day. That's where we're at.
Yeah. All right, I believe it. Hey, Mr. Eddie. Mr. Eddie out here is asking about the conference. You going on RH Max's conference?
Yes, I received a confirmation email today that I was that I'm going to speak at the conference. I don't know which day or which time or exactly what I'm talking about even. So we'll see.
Very nice.
I think it's something about Paul Sex, if I understand it properly.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I'm not speaking this time. I'd give you the I joke and be like, he never invited me. I'm the best tech sticker in the world, and I wasn't invited. He didn't have the time. No, but he did. He did invite me, but I can't do it that day or those days. So I'm not going to be speaking, but I'll be watching probably a bunch. I'll be watching a bunch.
I think it's good. I think people, they need something like that to look forward to, and probably there'll be some cool announcements at that time, right? Like what happens between now and then with July 7th being the cutoff date for the SEC, with what's going to happen with these mystery parcels. Like we could have a lot to talk about those days.
It could be pretty explosive. Yeah, pretty good. All right, well, let's go ahead and wrap. I don't think I was prepared here to show names and stuff. So how do people contact you, man? Where do they find you?
I can be found on Twitter at FastAbdul. Or if you put my website in there, inkprinter.com, or you can also look at 2phux.io. Links to Telegram and Twitter on those websites. Be very careful. There's fake Fast Abduls out there. I will never DM you, send you a private message, ask for your seed phrase, etc., etc. The scammer is going to come as the value of everything on Pulse Chain goes up. So
the fake Fast Abduls might be running around.
There's quite a few actually.
Yeah, I know. There's a bunch of fakes of everything. Well, hey, thanks for joining me. Hey, you guys who watch this, give us some feedback whether we should continue to do this over the summer on Tuesday nights or something like it, whatever you want. Also, I've been doing those. I've been trying to do these crispy nugget, ideas. Shout out to Benjamin for that idea. That was kind of the idea of just kind of like scrunching something up into a 15-minute thing. But give me some feedback on that, guys, if it's something you'll want to continue seeing. And I introduced Mr. T this week. We got a golden T, for T-shares. So we got that going out. But just let us know what it is you want to see, what you need, what would be helpful. It's going to get rocking here as we go forward. With that, you guys can find me at HexFire.io on the Twitter or here and on the YouTube and Moonmont. Thanks again if you're still listening for that super chat. And with that, you guys stay crispy as a chicken, and we'll see you the next time.